Anybody else that wants to come up and share, you are more than welcome. We're going to try and keep it between 3 and 5 minutes, the sharing part. So we're going to get started now. We're going to start with my mom, Lee.
Welcome everybody to Weir's Memorial. I would like everyone that remembers the story about them and Wayne to please come up and tell it. And my son is going to be our MC for the day.
Because I got the voice. Play him, Ron. Okay, so we're going to get started. Brian's going to read a poem that Wayne, it was real dear to Wayne's heart.
Okay, so this is At the Funeral from Mark Twain. Do not criticize the person in whose honor the entertainment is given. Make no remarks about his equipment. If the handles are plated, it is best to seem to not observe it. If the odor of the flowers is too oppressive for your comfort, remember that they were not brought there for you, and that the person for whom they were brought suffers no inconvenience from their presence. Listen with as intense an expression of intention as you can command to the official statement of the character and history of the person in whose honor the entertainment is given. And if these statistics should seem to fail to tally with the facts, in places, do not nudge your neighbor or press your foot upon his toes, or manifest by any other sign your awareness that the taffy is being distributed.
Back up.
Back up?
There you go.
All right. If the official hopes expressed concerning the person in whose honor the entertainment is given are known by you to be oversized, let it pass. Do not interrupt. At the moving passages, be moved, but only according to the degree of your intimacy with the parties giving the entertainment, or with the party in whose honor the entertainment is given. Where a blood relation sobs, an intimate friend should choke up, a distant acquaintance should sigh, a stranger should merely fumble sympathetically with his handkerchief. Where the occasion is military, rank, the highest officer present taking precedence in emotional violence, and the rest modifying their feelings according to the position in the service. Do not bring your dog. This is what Wayne wanted read at his memorial. So, a little Mark Twain. And Wayne always left me feeling inspired because I'm not a mechanical person, and yet he always had the time and patience to teach me something mechanical, help me fix something that was broken with my own hands instead of with someone else's hands. So that's what I remember most about it. And of course it's humor.
All right, next we're going to bring Jim up.
All right. I'm Wayne's son-in-law, the only son-in-law. He's got one daughter, and that's my lovely black Julie. That's how I'm connected to Wayne. Let's see if I can read this now. This lighting. Okay. Wayne Melvin Weir was born on November 4th, 1937 in Detroit, Michigan to William Dale and Edith May Weir. He joined the United States Air Force at the age of 17. During his time in the U.S. Air Force, he served as a teletype repairman and was stationed in Valsbourg Air Base in France. Wayne married and settled in Ventura, California, where he and his wife raised two children, Rory William and Julia Ann Weir. While married and raising a family, Wayne continued his educational career by earning an associate's degree in electronic engineering in 1961, and in 1970 earned a bachelor's degree in business administration and a master's degree in economics. In 1966, Wayne began working for the Naval Ship Missile Systems Engineering Station at the Naval Instruction Battalion Center in Port Hueneme, California. He entered as a technician and worked his way up to a senior electronic engineer. He was the lead engineer for the development, procurement, and installation of the Navy's new MK6-12 guided missile test set. In 1983, Wayne transferred to the Naval Center Electrical Laboratory, where he worked on energy conservation projects.
Conversation too.
Lots of conversation going on. During this time, he was the lead in a project which led to the U.S. patent on the chiller system designed to aid in refrigeration. In 1988, Wayne transferred once again to the Civil Engineering Support Office, where he was a computer-aided design CAD manager. Here, he designed and installed the network wiring for the AutoCAD program. He also initiated the business operation plan for the CAD-2 program. After 30 years of service in the United States military, Wayne retired in 1992. Wayne and Lee moved to Kernville, California in 2012, where they have enjoyed activities such as kayaking, playing music, hiking, and spending time with friends and family. They were married in 1982 and gained 2 additional sons in the process, Brian and Eric. On July 4, 2022, Wayne and Lee celebrated their 40th anniversary. Wayne had pancreatic cancer and passed away on August 9, 2022. And we are here to celebrate his life and to remember him and honor him. As I said, I'm his son-in-law. I'm the only son. He's got sons, but only one daughter. And being related to him in that way is so different than all of you. I think we all have a special connection with Wayne, either family or friends or long-time friends, or neighbors, or whatever. Noises. And
brother.
that's okay. And so I just want to say he was a wonderful father-in-law. When Julie and I first got married, you know how it is when you're young and not real bright and not have a lot of money. He would loan us money when we needed it. Sometimes we'd go to Wayne and say, we need just like $200 to get through or whatever, and he would gladly give it to us, and we would gladly pay it back. But he was always there. We would fly out of state, out of the country sometimes, and fly back in. He'd be there at the airport to pick us up. You know how it is when you have a pickup, you're the guy that everyone calls on, and Wayne had a pickup. But he was our family, and even helping us move. But one thing too, we had two children, and he is their only grandpa. My father died before my kids were even born, and so he was their only grandpa. And he was the best grandpa. He was the one that would show up for birthday parties and graduations and weddings and everything. He was the one that would be in the water balloon fights, and he was always there. He was a great grandpa, and my kids love him, and we do too. And we're going to miss him immensely. Thank you.
Thank you, Jim. And following that is his wife, Julia. My faithful sister. Do you like her?
No, I don't think I
She's got better eyes.
There sneaks some courage. The cowardly lion. First, I want to just thank the sportsmen for letting us be here today.
Yes. Thank you, thank you.
Yes,
Thank you.
this was a place where my dad spent a lot of time, not always drinking alcohol.
Right.
Gary, am I correct? Gary would show up at 6 o'clock and put a pot of coffee on, and he would come down here, and in his later years, just before he passed away, he wasn't able to get around much, but he still would come down here and drink coffee, and he showed up at other times too. Anyway, so I'm going to take a little longer than the average soul, so don't take my lead. But this is my dad, and I appreciate you listening to me share about him. I grew up in Ventura, while my dad worked at the military base in Fort Wainini. We knew that he had a secret government clearance for his job, and we thought that was really pretty cool. And we knew that he had something to do with missiles. I don't think we had any clue that he was an engineer, and we probably didn't really even care. But he was just our dad. But later in life, we learned what an accomplished man he was. Jim talked about it a little bit in his obituary. And hopefully Ron's going to say a little bit, I'm going to put him on the spot, but share with them about how him passing his professional engineer test and what a feat that was. He'll be able to explain it a little better than me. But even though my dad was so intelligent and so accomplished, we really didn't appreciate that until later in life when we realized the reason he was that way is because he really loved learning. The other day I received a phone call from one of my friends that grew up next door to us, and she said, "You know what I remember about your dad? He was smart. He was so smart." He said, "I remember we would bring things to him to fix. No problem. He would give it a try, and most of the time he knew what he was doing. He just was really smart." But I want to share with you that he didn't always feel that smart. When he was younger, he struggled in school with dyslexia. He finished the 9th grade, but that was it. He didn't finish high school. He went into the Air Force when he was 17 years old. While he was in the Air Force, he told the story that he had 2 roommates that were the dumbest guys he'd ever met, and they were college graduates. And it was there that he realized, if these guys can graduate from college, I can do that. So he did. He came home from college. Let's see, let me find my place. He came home from the Air Force. He settled in Southern California because he was able to go to college free there. He was from Michigan. He also said once he left Michigan, he didn't want to go back there after being in California. And then he married my mom shortly, and he worked, raised a family, and went to college. And it didn't happen overnight. It took a lot of years, but he did it. When I think about my dad as a younger person, I think about him sitting at his desk, and he had in his bedroom, and he had, Ron is the only one I think here from his job, but he had this big, huge, probably some kind of government surplus, big, ugly, metal, gray desk, but he was always sitting there. That's what I remember him, always being there.
You just borrowed it.
I'm sure he did. But I just remember him being there, and you know what? When we were kids, we didn't understand he was in school. But even when he wasn't in school, he was always studying, always looking at things, always trying to learn and study. And he enjoyed learning so much that when we were kids, probably a lot of you had parents like this too, but so it's not special. But we hated to ask him for help with our homework because all we wanted to know was what time it was, and he had to tell us how the clock worked. We didn't care. But I forgot my place. But we did learn later on. We understood, as we got older, how fortunate we were that we had a dad that told us how the clock worked. And that really instilled in us a love for learning as well. I was able to obtain my master's degree after I got married and after I had kids. And I know for a fact that it was that foundation that my dad instilled in me, that it's never too late to learn. Always try. Failure's okay. He was always really just encouraging with that. Another way he helped us with education was when we were younger, we'd always went camping and backpacking. And I didn't always appreciate those trips, especially backpacking. I remember thinking all the neighborhood kids get to stay home and play and watch TV, and we have to go camping, or we have to go backpacking. It made us work. And mind you, the only work that I had to do was carry my sleeping bag, but that was torture. But we didn't just work on those backpacking trips. We had a lot of fun. It's like anything with kids. Once you get them there, you have fun. one of my most fond memories of those backpacking trips was the Boy Scout handbook and his harmonica. And he taught us a lot of old classic Americana songs. And I always associate, when I hear a harmonica, I always associate that with my dad. And I always loved hearing my dad play the harmonica. So when Lee and I were trying to figure out, we wanted to give everybody a little token of something, what could we give them? And that's where those harmonicas come in. Who has their harmonica? Okay. So one of the things that my dad did, we always had a music night at the house in Ventura, and he always had people come over, and he didn't care if you were a beginner, he didn't care if you were advanced, he wanted everyone to try and to play. So right now, we're going to get our harmonicas out.
I forgot mine.
And this is for him, because he would want you to do that. Okay. And I'm going to sing a song and you're going to play. No, I'm just kidding. I'm not singing. Okay. Good job.
Thank you.
Okay.
Quiet. All right, I got it.
Okay, that's good.
Heard you.
Some of you aren't as patient as Wayne was, huh?
He couldn't hear either, so.
Yeah, you couldn't hear either. Okay, we can stop for now, please. No, really.
I'm not as good as Wayne was.
No, but, and yeah, and you're going to share a story about that, about how good he was on the
Oh,
harmonica.
yes. I've got lots of stories.
Yeah, but this harmonica was really, it has a fun story. So this is how my dad learned to play the harmonica. He bought that little harmonica, and we still have the one that he bought. He would put it in his mouth on his way to work, and he would play it. That's how he learned how to play, driving on his way to work. And I'm thankful he had one that he didn't have to use his hands with. So if you're looking for something to do on your way to work, that harmonica is for you. But anyway, that's how he learned how to play it. One of the things I also remember about my dad is he often told us that his mind never stopped. He was always thinking, kind of drove him crazy sometimes. He said he would lay awake at night and think about differential equations. I don't even know what a differential equation is, and I certainly don't think about it when I'm trying to go to sleep. But that's how my dad was. He was always, like, his mind just would never relax. While his busy mind created motivation to accomplish great things, it also drove him crazy at times. And there are moments that I know music became his healthy distraction. He loved playing music. When I was younger, he mostly played the guitar and the harmonica, and oftentimes he played them together at the same time, and we all thought that was pretty cool. But something really special after he retired, he expanded his musical instrument interest greatly. He bought a saxophone, a keyboard, an accordion. We had a family heirloom violin he tried to learn how to play, and we had a chanter that we found in the music room, and none of us knew what that was. We had to Google the picture, and it was an instrument that you learn to play before you learn to play the bagpipes. And Lee, now you guys know how patient Lee is, but this is how patient she was. She put up with him trying to learn all his instruments, and he didn't learn them very well, but he was always having fun. Trying to learn them. Let's see. So while I'm sure that it drove her crazy, she knows, and we know, that those were the times where he found peace for his busy mind, was in his music. And this is just a little poem that I wrote for him. It's on the back of the little program. After he passed away, just to kind of express When my mind is busy, when thoughts seem not to cease, I look to the beauty of music to give that needed release. He liked the blues, guitar, harmonica, blending all the sounds. The rhythm takes